Hey y'all, welcome to the 10K QnA. If you're only interested in the UMP-45 model and not really about the whole celebration thing or the person that's given you the model, there'll be a link to the download page, the Gumroad page, in the description and probably a pinned comment. Alright, so yeah, you guys can do whatever you want with the UMP-45 model. That was the community choice of who to make next and the milestone event character reward thing, you know, for like reaching 10K. Let's also, you know, move on to the questions, because, you know, I did ask if you guys have anything to ask. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them as well, you know, if you missed your chance. But yeah, let's move on. So, first one. It's by Maestro. They ask, how do I manage to churn out models so quickly? And what made me want to learn to do so? Well, kind of have the ability to do what I do because I don't really have a job. I stay home with my parents all the time. Yeah, I stay home with my parents all the time. I also reuse. I'm starting to reuse a lot of my own assets because I made like, what, 53 character models at this point, so like there's some pieces that can be interchangeable. Specifically the head mesh. I've been reusing the head mesh a lot because it helps keep a consistent style, and the head is probably one of the most like important things on your character because that's what people are looking at. What made me want to learn to do modeling and all that stuff? Well, I just liked GFL, you know? But I mean, I started modeling because I was doing a lot of first-person character animations for Left 4 Dead 2 and a little bit of Gmod, and it was just a big waste of time, so ended up advancing to character modeling and stuff, in a sense. And GFL was perfect. GFL was perfect for it because they didn't have 3D models at the time, you know, not before GFL 2. But yeah, I mean, of course they did have GFL 3D models, you know, other fan-made ones, but not the ones that I would be looking for, you know. It wasn't really a good G41 character model. Anyway, moving on. Caffeinated Gamer 45. They ask, would I be willing to re-upload a section from a privated stream? And then would I take commissions for individual skits in the compilation videos? Alright, well, the Smasher Pass section from that one stream wasn't that interesting, and also I'm not really a streamer, you know, so I don't really want to like focus on that kind of stuff at all. I just do streams so that I can like update you guys and like have a live interaction, you know, compared to a update video where like you kind of have to wait for me to get back. In an update stream, you can drop in whenever you want and just ask whatever you want whenever you want, you know. But taking commissions for individual skits, I don't really think that my animation ability is that good enough to like start taking commissions for it. Plus, it'd be a little bit tough to gauge the pricing, you know? I mean, the animations that I do right now, a lot of corners are being cut already, you know? Most of them don't have like complicated animations. That's why I haven't really tackled anything big so far, because I know how tough it actually is to make it proper. I kind of hold myself to a high standard, you know. Like, if I know it's going to be jank in any sort of way, I'm probably not going to do it, you know. So, yeah. Modelo Time asks, have I ever thought of getting a Patreon, or am I planning on doing it? And if I plan on streaming GFL gameplay or major events? Well, for streaming GFL, I don't really think so. GFL is not really interesting to watch stream-wise, and I'm not really good at the game, you know? Plus the emulator that I use is going to be slow as all hell, so I don't think it'd be interesting at all. But a Patreon, I've been asked to get a Patreon multiple times in the past, but I don't think it would work out for me because I don't have anything to like give as incentive to support those patrons, you know. And I guess if you wanted to like support me in terms of like monetary value or something. You could just buy some models on the Gumroad. Like that's one way to do it, but I don't really think a monthly subscription is something that would fit me right now because I don't have anything to like offer, and I don't think I have a solid, consistent schedule that I can say is concrete for sure. Because right now it's already fluctuating. You know, right now I'm already like taking a break because of like, well, not really taking a break, but right now it's already slowed down because I have to work for Fury Tomic, and I don't have like my own stuff to put out yet. So like, I don't really know about it. I have thought about it though, you know. So Hitori Masen asks, is there any chance that I might return to modding or taking mod commissions in the Left 4 Dead 2 workshop community? And then they ask why I hid my mods. Well, there's no way that I'm gonna go back because that place is just toxic. It's not really a place for creative endeavors. Anything that I make right now should not be just publicly put out on the workshop. Because, like, why would I spend all the time that I've spent making the character models just to make it for free and have it butchered in the source engine? The workshop doesn't even, like, support creative endeavors because it's just catered towards popularity and trends. You know, after all, it is a bunch of community people, not people that, like, actually understand the effort. And I got rid of all my stuff to make sure that no one ever tried to follow me, and to make sure that like I don't ever go back to modding, because I had actually had multiple instances where I said, you know what, I'm leaving, but then I came back. But this time it's freaking permanent, you know. I'm never going back. I've moved on, you know. I'm trying to do more ambitious stuff and more worthwhile stuff than just modding. Not to say modding as a whole is bad, it's just modding for a workshop is god-awful. Narrow A there asks, what software do I use to make my videos? Blender. You know, I use Blender to model, animate, and video edit. Occasionally I'll use Vegas Pro, but it's really finicky there. Maybe it's just a version I have. But yeah, it's pretty much just Blender for everything. I do use OBS and NVIDIA Shadowplay to record certain things to get audio and other stuff, but yeah, it's pretty much just Blender. I appreciate the comments that you guys leave and like the compliments that you leave in these questions as well. You know, it's just I don't really take compliments too well. I don't really know how to respond to them, and sometimes I don't really know if it's really worth complimenting, and then I just make it awkward most of the time. Like right now, I want to make it awkward, so let's move on. Magma Rhino asks, what got me interested in GFL, and when did I decide to start making the models and skits? Well, I got interested in GFL. Well, I first saw GFL with a picture of AR-15 in the Left 4 Dead workshop community, and there was always just like this subgenre of, you know, cute girls with guns, and I was like, where can I find more of that? You know, when I first picked up an anime to watch, it was Yupote, you know, and I only ever saw the anime adaptation, but like after that, I was just looking for something else after that, but I couldn't really find it. And then, you know, found GFL. GFL to me was essentially Yupote V2, so it got me hooked immediately. Yeah, I guess that's kind of how it is. I mean, I guess I always had an interest in the merging of anime girls and guns or some shit. So, and when did I decide to start making the models and skits? Well, before, you know, I said I was doing a lot of animation and modding stuff, but then I was like, you know, I should move on. I should do something more skillful. So I stepped into character modeling. But after that, or no, during that, I was porting those character models to Gmod, but it was like really tedious and not even worth it, and the model quality would be gimped severely. So I ended up just making models for myself, and then after that I kind of built up a roster of character models, and I was like, what am I gonna do with all these character models? You know, I had too many models. I didn't have anything to use them for, so ended up just looking into character animation again, and just started to animate the character models I made. That's kind of how it happened. if I had to guess. I don't know, it's kind of hard to remember what happened back then. My mind changes very frequently. That's why I, like, change plans and flake out on stuff pretty often. The Chain Walker asks, what's my process in making skits? Like, what makes me go, well, I'll make this into a GFL skit. And they congratulate me on 10K, thank you. I mean, I know it sounds corny, but it's because of you guys that I was able to get 10K, you know? I know it sounds corny, but I know that acknowledging it doesn't make it any better. And I don't know that acknowledging it doesn't make it any better, and then the whole different layers of acknowledgement. But my process in making the skits, I mean, really, okay, at the beginning I was, you know, doing like original stories in a sense, like Signal, Proving Grounds, and Vanguard. But then eventually I had to like slow down because the text box feature, you know, the one that you see in the background here, actually, it was just not suited for videos. You know, it was just super hard to sync it up with the animation. So I ended up just doing like audio. But you know, when I did audio, I would like try to make the audio fit the character. You know, like the audio would have to like fit the character's personality or a trait, or like kind of make sense in the context. I didn't want to just reskin any old video with GFL characters. You know, I didn't want it to be just a mere reskin. I wanted it to have like an actual fitting, like deliberate lineup, you know? So basically I'll just animate anything that like fits the character, you know, just nothing that's just a mere reskin, because that would be kind of cheap. But and then like for the content I pick, it would usually just be anything I find funny at the time, you know? I keep a big list of ideas, you know? And I just go back there if any of them are good, if any of them are things that would be worth picking up. Yeah. On to the next. Spicy Sauerkraut says that I did one time mention making a GFL rail shooter. That is true. I've considered it, you know, like my own fan game. Kind of like how all those other people make like third-person shooters and first-person shooters, but those have yet to be finished. And I think a rail shooter, or a visual novel type thing, like a Tamagotchi type game, or a Monica After Story type game, that would be more doable for an indie type title. I mean, look at Glitchland. You know, when Mika Team was like about to bring a fan game into the official roster, Glitchland was like an RPG type game, like a 2D RPG. You know, and it was originated as a fan game. You know, indie work. I mean, GFL is indie work, but you know what I'm saying. It was more reasonable of a goal compared to a whole third-person shooter or first-person shooter. Yeah, a real shooter like Sierra 7 to Flash game, or a Tamagotchi style game, kind of like Monica After Story. That's what I was thinking of. And then they ask like hypothetical questions like what characters. I mean, it would have to include the main characters, you know, AR Team, 404, Defy, and then non-doll characters. Yeah, I'll probably introduce them as like bonus stages or, you know, main story thingies. And then the character roster, I guess it would update over time. It would also definitely include my favorite characters, you know, like G41, G3. Snake asks, what would I consider to be my favorite sidearm or carry pistol? Alright, so I've never actually shot a real gun. I had a chance to when I went to vacation in Vegas as a kid with my family, but the whole thing there was just not really working out, so I never went to the gun range with them. And then, you know, I did also try getting my own gun at one point, but I was committed to a mental institution multiple times in the past, like 3 or 4 times. The psych ward of a hospital, rather, you know, involuntarily committed. And because of question 21F, the prohibiting questions under 4473, if you've ever been committed to a mental hospital involuntarily, you cannot own a firearm, or at least get one transferred to you via a federal firearms licensee. There is a way to appeal that, technically, but it requires some documents that I do not have access to at the moment, and I don't think I'm ever going to get access to them in a long while. But to answer that question, like my favorite gun, my favorite pistol, rather, like handgun or pistol, based on the video games I played and stuff, it would be either the M9 or the P226. I do have a lot of airsoft guns, and out of all the airsoft handguns and pistols, the most reliable one has been the 1911, so I guess you could also say that. But aside from that, it would be like M9 or P226. So, yeah, next one. Sync Zone asks me to keep being healthy. I'm not gonna do that, but the question was what am my next big step for the channel, and well, I don't really have a big step next for the channel. I mean, I was eventually gonna make a grand entrance for G3 because she's highly revered to me, but that would be insanely tough to make, and I don't think it's ever gonna happen in a while. I still need to make the fairies for that video too if I ever do it, and find out like how to implement my own writing in a sense. But no, I don't really have any big steps for the channel at the moment. You know, I'm just gonna keep it small, keep it steady. You know, I'm trying to keep it basic. I am still working on that video with Fury Tomic, so I guess that could technically be the next big video, because that's gonna be his big video, but that's gonna be on his channel, so you guys check that out. And yeah, no big steps. Yeah, just gonna keep it steady. Juan Gualtero. I cannot read other languages. I only know one language, but I did Google Translate it earlier, and I think they were asking, perhaps rhetorically, but they were asking like how I make, like teach how I make the characters that I do and all that stuff. I mean, okay, I would like to help teach and like kind of share it, but like the thing is, I'm not good at explaining, like at all. And also the way I do things is not very standard, you know. I would recommend just looking at the tutorials that I followed, you know, that way you can kind of follow in my footsteps. I don't want you to like go for what I did. I think you should follow the people that I followed, because they're the ones that taught me, you know. If you want to learn what I did, you should go to the people that taught me, and the people that taught me are like these guys: Royal Skies, Niche Kwang, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then Anime XD. Yeah, these people are the people you should be following, because they are the ones that like I learned from. You know, they didn't teach me directly, but I did learn from them. So yeah. Scrub Scribble asks if there will someday be a free model that people can use, or is everything going to be paid? Alright, so funny story. At one point I joined a GFL VR chat server, and they were like, we need more content, we need like something to help boost the server activity. And I was like, you know what, I'll help you guys out with that. I'll give all the models that I made up until Vanguard out for free. And that was just a big mistake. I mean, nothing really bad happened of it, but like nothing really came out of it. And then I don't know, I guess that was kind of a loss in profit at some point. But I mean, the UMP-45 model is going to be free, no strings attached. Just, you know, don't try to sell it to anyone else, because like it's free. You know, port her to video games, use her in animations, do whatever. Try not to make R34 with her, because that's just mean. But okay. There's not really gonna be any free stuff that I make for a good while unless I explicitly planned it, because the things that I do are like really intensive and high requirement. Like, to make one character model, I gotta work day after day throughout the entire day with extremely high work standards, you know. Like, gotta be super clean, gotta be well fed, gotta be the right amount of energy, gotta be the right timing in the day, gotta have nothing else in the day to bother me. It's just a lot, and I can't just do all that work and just hand it out for free. That's why I'm also never gonna port my stuff to the workshops, because if I do that, all that work is just gonna be handed out to those people that don't really, you know, I don't know. I mean, look, the free content, in a sense, is the videos, you know? The models, like, the people that are looking for the models are people that, like, already have, like, the ability to... And never mind, you know? It's just... Simple answer is no, there's not going to be free models unless I've planned it and, like, am announcing it and telling you guys that it's going to be free. Everything else, though, it's going to be paid, because I need to make, like, a living off of this kind of stuff. I need to make some kind of profit, you know? And I'm not doing it just for the profit necessarily, but I need it if I'm gonna keep doing this kind of stuff. I can't just put all this effort into videos and animation if I get like zero returns from it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And I do believe this is the last question, and they're asking Paradise Mommy model when. Like I'll step into Paradise characters like one day. I don't really know. I mean, maybe if I did ever step into them, I'd have to like finish either a decent Sangris set or a decent military Case of CO set. But like for Paradise, not really anytime soon, because like a lot of them would require like, I guess, hard surface modeling, and that's not hard in the sense of difficulty. It's the sense of like the surface, like kind of being hard, like that, you know, kind of like a flat, blocky robotic stuff. And I'm not really good at that yet. You know, I don't really know the workflow for that. It's probably a lot of booleans and other crap, but yeah, nothing with Paradise yet. If I ever do like aim towards that, I would have to finish Sangris first, or additionally the military set first, because they kind of have like a little bit more relation with the whole setting of my animations. The whole setting of my animations is like before shit hit the fan. You know what I'm saying? That's why everyone, for the most part, is like basic version, not modded. Like M4 is not modded, because like that would imply that like everything's before things went bad. But yeah, that's it for the Q&A. I don't really have any more. If I press another one, it just goes back to the beginning. Appreciate y'all, you know, for coming to this end of the video. Stay tuned for that Fury Tomy collaboration. I have to animate more stuff for him before it comes out, and it's, you know, up to him when he uploads it as well, so I don't really know when it's going to come out. But in the meantime, enjoy the UMP-45 model. Do as you please with her. Just, you know, don't do anything crazy. Leave any extra comments or any extra questions in the comments, because, you know, maybe you have another one that you want to ask, and I'll answer it. Why not? That's it.